The Galactic Council's chamber is filled with an air of authority, its representatives seated in a grand, circular arrangement. Beings of varied shapes, colors, and forms occupy the room, each one a testament to the diversity of the universe. The conversation flows smoothly, laced with confidence. Humans, one of the reptilian delegates scoffs, his voice dripping with disdain. A primitive species from a backward planet. They haven't even mastered interstellar travel without assistance. Subjugating them will be a formality, nothing more. A murmur of agreement ripples through the room. Another delegate, an insected creature with a voice like chittering whispers, speaks up. We can absorb their resources, integrate them into the Empire. They will comply, as all lesser beings do when faced with our might. The discussion circles around logistics rather than strategy, as if they are planning an event rather than a campaign. The consensus is clear: humanity poses no threat, merely another planet to add to their growing list of subordinates. We should make an example of them, suggests a member from a species known for their psychic abilities, his tone casual yet firm. Show the rest of the galaxy what happens when a species resists the Council's will. They'll bend or break. The decision is unanimous. An emissary ship will be sent to Earth, equipped not just with negotiators but also with a display of their technological superiority, a subtle threat dressed as diplomacy. The Council prepares to deliver its ultimatum, confident of humanity's inevitable submission. First contact is initiated. The emissary's ship, a gleaming colossus of metal and light, descends through Earth's atmosphere, cutting through the clouds with effortless precision. On board, the alien representatives are briefed to remain assertive yet diplomatic, to convey the Council's demands in a manner that leaves no room for negotiation. The ship lands, its presence alone a symbol of the Council's reach, and emissaries disembark to meet Earth's leaders. What they encounter is unexpected. Rather than hostility or defiance, they are greeted by calm, composed faces. A holographic image of the alien envoy, a tall, imposing figure with a voice resonating like an echo, delivers the message. People of Earth, you stand before the Galactic Council. Your world has been deemed a suitable addition to our empire. You will surrender your sovereignty and integrate into our structure, or you will face the consequences of defiance. We offer peace and prosperity, should you choose wisely. The humans listen, and then, in a measured tone, one of Earth's representatives responds. We appreciate your offer and would like to discuss the terms. We are open to a peaceful dialogue. There is a pause, a moment of confusion on the part of the aliens. This was not the expected reaction. Usually, species either resist in fear or submit outright. But here, the humans seem almost relaxed. The emissary, interpreting this as a sign of weakness, conveys the Council's conditions in more explicit terms, layering on the implied threat with each sentence. The humans nod, smile, and agree to a formal meeting, a gesture that leaves the emissaries feeling as if they've already secured victory. The emissary's ship departs, sending a report back to the Council. Humans appear compliant. Initial interactions indicate readiness to submit. Recommend proceeding with full integration process. Back in the Council chamber, the mood is jubilant. They discuss the success of the initial contact as if the campaign is already over. They plan for the next steps, sending fleets to establish bases, deploying administrative overseers to manage Earth's resources, and ensuring the planet's smooth assimilation into the Empire. They're just like the others, one Council member remarks. All species are the same when they realize what's at stake. They resist until they see the futility. Then they fall in line. But we won't make it easy for them. They need to understand that compliance is not just expected but mandatory. Another adds, leaning back with a self-satisfied smile. As the preparations for Earth's annexation proceed, one Council member asks a question, a mere formality. What if they resist after the meeting? There's a chuckle, light and dismissive. Then we crush them. It won't come to that. By the end of the negotiations, they'll know their place. The conversation continues, filled with plans to make Earth an example for any other planet that might dare to resist the Council's will. They are already preparing to issue orders to their fleets, to commence the takeover process once the humans finalize their submission. On Earth, however, things are not as straightforward as the Council believes. Inside a secure, undisclosed location, Earth's leaders gather around a large, digital display, tracking the movement of the emissary ship as it returns to its mothership. The room hums with quiet activity, voices low and purposeful. One of the officials speaks, his tone carefully neutral. They think we're going to comply. They've already sent word back to their council, assuming our cooperation. Another, slightly older, lets out a small, almost amused sigh. Good. Let them think that. It'll make our next move easier. A scientist seated towards the back adds, We've gathered enough data on their technology. It's impressive, but not invincible. If we time this right, we'll have the upper hand. There's a murmur of agreement. Someone asks the key question. And if it doesn't work? The response is immediate, decisive. Then we improvise. We've been underestimated before. But this time, we're ready. The leaders exchange knowing glances, a silent acknowledgement of the unspoken truth. Humanity has been preparing for this moment ever since the first signals of alien contact were detected, long before the emissary even arrived. They've studied the Council's ships, reverse-engineered what little data they could intercept, and have been quietly building their own capabilities. One of the leaders concludes the meeting, her voice calm yet firm. They see us as just another species to conquer. They don't realize we've been watching, learning. Let them come. We'll show them what it means to face a true apex predator. The room falls silent, but the atmosphere is charged with a quiet determination. The Council may think they have Earth's submission in hand, but the humans have their own plans, and they are ready to execute them at a moment's notice. The Galactic Council's fleet cuts through the darkness of space, a shimmering armada of sleek warships bristling with weapons. Each ship, vast and imposing, reflects the might of the Council's advanced technology. As the fleet settles into orbit around Earth, their hulls gleam menacingly, blocking out sections of the sky. To those watching from the surface, it feels as though the heavens themselves have been invaded. The broadcast begins. The alien emissary's voice echoes across the planet, translated into every language. People of Earth, your time has come. The Galactic Council is here to bring order to your chaotic world. You will surrender all claims of independence and integrate into our greater civilization. Resist, and you will face consequences beyond your comprehension. There's a pause, as if to let the words sink in, and the tone grows sharper, colder. You will comply, or you will be subjugated. This is not a negotiation. This is your final warning. The voice carries a dismissive certainty, like that of a parent scolding a disobedient child. The Council's ships loom in the sky, radiating a silent, ominous threat. From Earth, a response is transmitted, a calm, measured tone cutting through the static. Galactic Council, we acknowledge your presence. We understand your intentions and wish to engage in a discussion. We welcome your emissaries to meet with our leaders on neutral ground. The words are respectful, even courteous, but there's a chilling undertone, a quiet edge that hints at something deeper. The Council interprets this as submission, a capitulation disguised as diplomacy. They've already seen the fleet, one of the commanders remarks with a smirk. They know resistance is futile. Confident in their interpretation, the Council begins the next phase of their operation. Smaller, scout ships break off from the main fleet, descending towards Earth's surface to assess the planet and establish preliminary bases. They move with an almost casual efficiency, as if they're preparing to settle a new colony. As the alien scouts land, they start setting up command centers, scanning the environment, and deploying units to strategic locations. They find no immediate resistance. Instead, they are greeted by polite cooperation. Human officials escort them, provide assistance, and allow them access to key sites. Everything proceeds smoothly, almost too smoothly. But as the Council's teams continue their work, they fail to notice the subtle glances exchanged by the humans, the quiet observations and the discreet data gathering happening right under their noses. Without warning, everything changes. Across multiple locations, the Council's equipment begins to malfunction. The scout ships, once hovering with an air of superiority, suddenly lose power, forced to the ground as their systems fail one by one. Defensive turrets, hidden beneath the surface, emerge silently and aim with unnerving precision, disabling key components of the Council's operations without a single explosion. The Council's forces, once so confident, now scramble in confusion, trying to understand how their technology has been so easily compromised. "Status report," demands a Council commander, his voice sharp with urgency. "What's happening down there?" One of the tech officers responds, a note of disbelief in his tone. "They're shutting us down. Our systems are going offline, one after another. We can't locate the source. It's like they knew exactly where to strike." The humans, previously accommodating and deferential, now stand with a different demeanor, a quiet, assertive confidence. A broadcast cuts through the Council's frantic communications, the same calm voice as before but now imbued with an unmistakable authority. "Galactic Council, this is not an act of aggression. But understand, we will not be controlled. You came to intimidate us, to make us submit. We decline." The shift is palpable. The tone is no longer one of compliance but of control. The humans reveal their hand, showing that their supposed acquiescence was merely a tactic, a way to lure the Council into overextending themselves. The Council's forces, outmaneuvered and stunned, realize they are not dealing with a primitive species that can be easily cowed. They are facing an opponent that has been studying them, planning, and waiting for this exact moment. On board one of the command ships, a senior Council commander demands answers. "How is this possible? They had no means of understanding our systems, no access to this level of technology. They must have stolen it, copied it from someone else. I want to know how they did it." The response comes not from his own officers but from the human leader, now transmitting directly to the command ship. "You assumed we were weak because we did not reveal our strength. You assumed we were ignorant because we did not flaunt our knowledge. That was your mistake." The voice is calm, almost casual, but carries a weight that the Council had not anticipated. "We did not steal your technology. We studied it. We improved upon it. We've been preparing for this, long before your ships ever entered our skies. Arrogance blinded you to what we are truly capable of." The commander listens, stunned into silence. For the first time, he feels a flicker of doubt, a recognition that the humans are not the simple prey they were made out to be. You think you can challenge the might of the Council?" he stammers, his bravado faltering. "No," the human leader replies. "We don't need to challenge you. We just need to show you that you've underestimated us. And now, you're beginning to understand." The broadcast ends, leaving the Council to face the reality of their miscalculation. Humanity is not just another primitive race waiting to be conquered. They are a force that has been quietly, patiently honing its edge, waiting for the moment to strike. And that moment has come. Humanity's forces, hidden until now, come alive in a swift, coordinated response. Across the globe, advanced defense systems, once dormant, activate with precision. Satellites redirect, jamming the Council's communications, while drones and aircraft move in perfect formation, surrounding the Council's ground units. Instead of aggressive attacks, they disable, dismantle, and neutralize with surgical accuracy, leaving the Council's forces immobilized but unharmed. The humans strike at weak points, using their intimate knowledge of the Council's technology to cut off power, disrupt systems, and render weapons useless. The Council's commanders watch the chaos unfold, trying to regain control, but nothing works. Their once mighty fleet, designed to overwhelm, is now paralyzed by a foe they thought insignificant. They see their ships surrounded, not by vast armies, but by a few, well-placed human assets that seem to know exactly where to hit. Panic begins to ripple through their ranks, the realization dawning that they're not facing amateurs, they're facing a tactician's worst nightmare. As the humans assert their dominance, the Council's once arrogant demeanor shifts to confusion and disbelief. "How are they doing this?" demands one of the commanders, but no one can answer. The screens show their ships drifting, defenseless, and their ground troops cornered, unable to retaliate. This was supposed to be a simple annexation, a display of superiority. Instead, they find themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. The main command vessel receives a direct transmission from Earth. A human representative appears on the screen, calm and resolute. Your forces are immobilized. We've shown restraint, but don't mistake it for weakness. This can end peacefully, or it can escalate. The choice is yours. The Council's leader, taken aback, tries to reclaim authority. You will release our ships immediately, or what? The human interrupts, his voice cutting through the commander's bluster. You're in no position to threaten us. We don't seek conflict, but we will not bow. We've studied your technology, your tactics, and your psychology. We understand your strength, but you clearly underestimated ours. The tension is palpable. The Council's leader hesitates, the realization sinking in that every step they've taken has been a misstep. If they press on, it will mean a war they cannot win without heavy, irreparable losses. You are willing to go to war over this? He asks, his voice less certain now, searching for a way out. The human representative meets his gaze without flinching. We are willing to defend our freedom, yes. You thought we were vulnerable because we chose diplomacy, because we didn't flaunt our capabilities. That was your error. You value control. We value freedom. It's not something we'll trade, not now, not ever. The Council leader stares at the screen, trying to gauge the resolve behind those words. He had assumed Earth would fold, as so many other worlds had before. Now, he realizes they're dealing with a species that doesn't just survive adversity, they adapt, thrive, and turn it to their advantage. Faced with the reality of a costly, drawn-out conflict, the Council begins to reconsider their approach. Very well, the leader finally says, his tone begrudging. You've made your point. We are prepared to negotiate terms, but understand that this will be an arrangement beneficial to both sides. The human's response is firm but measured. Our terms are simple. Earth remains autonomous. We'll agree to a cooperative relationship, but not under your rule. We're willing to share knowledge, resources, and even defense strategies, but as equals, not subordinates. The Council leader, still processing the rapid shift in power dynamics, nods slowly. You propose an alliance then. But you understand that this sets a precedent? Other planets may take your defiance as a sign that they, too, can challenge the Council. That's your problem, not ours, the human replies. We didn't ask for this conflict, but we'll end it on our terms. Respect our sovereignty, and we'll be your allies. Otherwise, you'll have to consider what it means to face a united, resilient force that knows how to defend itself. The Council leader exhales, the weight of the situation evident. He hadn't anticipated negotiating, let alone on equal footing. Yet here he is, forced to acknowledge the reality he'd failed to foresee. Very well. We accept your terms. Earth shall remain autonomous, and we will discuss the parameters of this alliance. The reluctance in his voice is evident, but so is the resignation. He has no other choice. The agreement is broadcast across the Council's channels, a formal acknowledgement that Earth will not be annexed but recognized as an equal. The tone has shifted. Where there was once arrogance, there is now a cautious respect. The Council's forces begin to withdraw, recalibrating their approach, while humanity stands firm, watching them depart. A reflective voice speaks over the closing images of the fleet pulling back, perhaps a Council member musing aloud. We thought them primitive, easy to control. But we were wrong. Their strength was not in their technology, but in their will. They adapted, learned, and grew stronger, even under threat. We were the predators, but we didn't see the truth. They were never prey. They were preparing, biding their time. And now we know, humanity is not to be underestimated. As the screen fades, a final, quiet statement lingers. The Council thought they could bully us, not knowing we were the apex predators all along.